BA Fact 1. The strongest BA board ever recorded was Beatrice Pass.
Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to From the Deck, and today we are not on From the Deck. As you can see, we're actually on JS cards because he gently asked for a video, and of course I gave it to him. Now today we are going to take a focus on Burn Abyss. Now Burn Abyss is a deck that has been around since 2015, and I know that, but I think we can revamp it with a little bit of Shaddoll, and I think it is actually a very good deck at that point. So we're going to start with a couple of cards here. We are going to talk about Necrofusion and Ice Dragon Prison probably, but the first card that I want to talk about is Sinister Shadow Games. As you know, Sinister Shadow Games lets you send a Shadow monster from your deck to the graveyard. Now this is very important because that saves your Beatrice for something more interesting like a Farfa. Now, the idea behind this is that you send any Shadow monster that you need. It is really fine, it doesn't really matter. In this case I only playing 2 Neo Shadow Aerial because it's a really good for 3. Now, you can play Shadow Beast, that's the one I'm playing right now because the draw is a very good draw. And I'm also playing a Shadow Pendulum because I don't have other shadows on the house. Now the main point of this is to make win that turn 2 without the need of playing Shadow Schism, Nadir Servant, and all these expensive Shadow cards. Instead you just Necrofusion into it and you can attack just fine with it. Now, in case you don't want to make win that, you can make Construct, banishing a Dante or Beatrice at that point because you don't really summon Beatrice more than the first turn. And I think that is actually very awesome because Shadow Construct can get rid of very interesting things that your opponent may or may not have. The rest of the deck is pretty standard for Trap BA. You have your 3 Grab, your 3 Seer, your 3 Scarm, your 2 Farfa, 1 Barbar, 1 Calcap, 2 Livich, and Alich. All of these Burn Abyss names are just to summon Dante. This is your starter. We're also playing Ancient Sabers. I know some people drop this because they don't consider it very good, but it's a really nice extender on the graveyard. It is a free link 4 if you play it with Cherubini, and it gets you basically to OTK range. Ice Dragon's Pearson is a very expensive card at this point if you are a budget player, so you can replace it with stuff like Karma Cut and other interruptions basically. But Ice Dragon Prison can save you if your opponent doesn't Cosmic Cyclone it. The best thing that you can do with Necrofusion though is summon Dante Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss. Dante has an effect that Dante discard an Burning Abyss card to draw 1 card. This is pretty interesting and it sometimes can save your lives, but it is actually not the one that people use for. So, going second, if you are watching the side deck, you can see a Shekinaga. Now the Shekinaga is because we can send Fiendish Rhino Warrior who can send a Burning Abyss name, and we can summon it from Shadow Fusion. You play 3 of these and never substitute your Necrofusions. We are also playing the 3-dimension shifter that Gabriel Net or Gabriel Vargas, I don't know which Gabriel did mention it, and that is actually a very good hand trap for most of the games. Preplan Bird Anaconda is also a card that you can use to send the Shadow Fusion to the graveyard to fusion summon your Construct or whatever you want. And Dark Rumor Twin Twister is just some control cards that you can use going second really strong. You can see that we are playing Ceroboros on the extra deck. Ceroboros is basically an free OTK. You can summon it from Tour Guide and Cherubini basically. And because we play Pot of Desires, it gets really big. Now Pot of Desires may sound confusing on this deck because you need to keep your 2 Neo Shadow Aerial and your Ancient Sabers, and you are correct. I wouldn't recommend Pot of Desires, but it is a drop card, and it's probably the best one that you can play. You can play X-Rab, and you can also afford to play the new one, Prosperity, because Prosperity halves the damage and also touches your select, which is something you don't really want to do. Portal Sword is a nice card if you can make it. You usually make Access Code Blocker is easier to make, but whatever you want to do is fine. And as you can see on these games, we couldn't even summon 1 Shadow monster because we couldn't get your arranging going, but we still managed to fusion summon that a lot of times. And going second, as you can see here, we are actually going to make a big damage to our opponent with our combo between Phantasme and Dimension Shifter. I could doubt the Phantasmes because I think that's not a very good card at the moment. Because if you want to play it, you can change the Dark Ruler No More for 3 Phantasme, and it actually accomplishes the same result. I want to talk about Fin Griffin, but you know Fin Griffin, I'm not playing Blackjack because it is another Garnet on the deck, and this deck can afford to play a lot of Garnets. The Dynamiscus, for those of you who may not be aware, discards for cost, so No-Shell Ariel can trigger from that as well. It is a really good card. And Torrential Tribute is basically just free for you because you are playing Born Abyss, and every Born Abyss monster floats into itself. So in the end we get a mess of a deck, but it is actually a very fun deck to play if you ever decide to do so. And that's basically it. We solved Shaddoll Born Abyss in under 5 minutes, and I want to thank you very much for watching, and we see you on the next one.